Hello, everyone, and welcome to Last Take. I get the last take, motherfuckers. Yes, I've been taking a little bit of time off, but finally we have something to talk about. Even though Lakers news and NBA news is moving slower than molasses in January right now, at least we've got the Olympics. So I've been having a lot of fun myself, watching the Olympics, since Friday, since the opening ceremony evening. And yeah, I even enjoyed, a good part of the opening ceremony. Most of the time it's usually pretty cheesy. It usually makes me laugh and even makes me cringe in a few places, but it's usually pretty entertaining. And this year was no exception. And the French really, really outdid themselves this year. I felt like, the metal band, Gojira playing was pretty awesome. You know, Even though a lot of the dancers were out of sync and stuff like that, it was pretty cool. And it was also funny to see people freaking out, over what they thought was a depiction of the Last Supper, which is actually hey, that goes a lot further back than that. And but anyway, we don't need to get on into all that. It was just pretty funny to me, because if you're offended by that, you're in for big surprise when you start meeting a lot of other people around the world. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But I've been having a lot of fun. The Olympics, I love the Olympics. Like these athletes, like I admire these athletes so much. They train their asses off for 4 years. And a lot of times for like these events that are over like in seconds, and just like I can't even like fathom the pressure that some of them are under. It's amazing and just a lot of fun to watch. And like I can't obviously can't cover can't cover the Olympics fully. There's plenty of other better places for that anyway. I don't have a medal count or anything like that, so I can go over like what I've been watching so far, and having fun with. And to start things off, it was pretty cool that like the first medal that we got, was two synchronized divers from the U.S. named Cook and Bacon. Like now, I mean, how freaking perfect and like American is that? Like, our first medal by Cook and Bacon. Like, so that was a great start to the Olympics, and funny little sidebar. But I'm really into water polo personally, because water polo, before I got into basketball, water polo, was my favorite sport. I started off as a competitive swimmer, and moved into water polo, while competitive swimming, because it's a fun sport. It's tough, it's grueling, but it's a lot of fun. And it was the one sport growing up where like I was the alpha on the team. And you know I I enjoyed that. But like after 13, I couldn't play it anymore because there wasn't a league where I could play it. So that's where I found basketball. But so I still love water polo. And the women's water polo team are a great freaking story for those of you that haven't been keeping up. Apparently I guess they had some funding issues getting into the qualifying rounds, and somebody stepped up to help them, and none other than Flava Flav, the other half of Public Enemy, stepped in to help them get to the qualifying rounds and get to the Olympics. And he's been there, he's been tweeting about them. He's been there at every game and showing up. And this team is pretty damn good, man. Their goalie is so good. Ashley Johnson. Like, yeah. So if you're not into water polo or anything like that, you know, give these girls a watch. This team is pretty good. They've had 2 games so far. They pounded Greece 15-6. a couple days ago, and then today they played Spain and had a tough 11-13 loss. But it was a great game, and Spain are the defending champions. So, that's they hung in there that whole game. They were right there. Just, Spain just kind of kept them just a little bit of an arm's length. They did actually have a bit of a lead in the first quarter, but Spain just kind of kept them, took the lead back and, kept them at arm's length the rest of the game. But, it was still a great game, 11-13, a lot of good scoring and, a lot of fun. And, the men's water polo have had one game so far, and that was a little bit disappointing, but, Italy was a pretty good team, pretty good matchup for them, and tough. They were tough, and they lost that game 12-8, but they kind of lost that game, I felt like, in the first quarter. They really got outplayed in the first quarter and then really stepped it up and kind of, played, kind of back and forth head to head with Italy there, in the second, third, and fourth. But, Italy had built such a lead that it just wasn't enough, but still, I enjoy watching the water polo. It's a lot of fun. And then, of course, we had the first men's basketball game yesterday, and nice win, 110-84. But, from a really good, really, competitive Serbian team that, statistically, I just heard this stat today that I guess apparently while Jokic was in the game, the score was 81-81, absolutely even. And it's basically the difference, of him not being there is that 110-84 score. So, yeah, we basically outscored them 29-3 when Jokic wasn't in there. So, that's how valuable and how good Jokic is. So, yeah, don't forget that, like that guy's still pretty goddamn good. But, Kevin Durant, how about Kevin? Like, we've been waiting for him to come back. And I knew once he came back, this team was going to be pretty close to unbeatable. And he's a cheat code, like, especially if he can come out and be shooting like that. I don't think he missed a shot in that game. I didn't look at the final box score, but there was a point where he and Braun had not missed a shot at all well into the third quarter. So, man, I feel like gold is coming back, and, I felt like Braun wasn't going to let it happen, but now if Kevin Durant's going to be in there, like this should be, we should be able to get this pretty easily. Now next game is going to be a tough one. I shouldn't sell South Sudan short. They played us tough in that last game, and we're going to have to bring our A game to beat them for sure. But, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's on Wednesday. And, so yeah, man, bring that gold back home, guys. It's been fun watching you. And KD, man, how do you guard that guy? Like, there's nobody has an answer for him. Like, especially when he's hitting like that. And, I've been critical of Embiid and Booker as well, because Embiid, in a lot of ways has been practically unplayable. And, we got off to a bad start in that game, primarily because of him, and he had to be benched for AD, I think it was not even 3 minutes into the game. So, yeah. And, and Booker, Booker was better in this last game. He's been engaged defensively, but I still feel like he's just been looking a little bit disinterested out there. And, I just know he can play better, and it's frustrating. And, all these people that want to talk about the dream team and disparage the dream team didn't have weak links like this. So, all you youngsters that think that this team is quite there, no, there's still some weak links on this team. This team is pretty damn good, but it's not like the dream team. So, but anyway, like I said, next game's on Wednesday, South Sudan should be a good one. The women's team, played Japan, and I missed it live today, but I was just watching the first half here a little bit earlier, and man, my biggest takeaway from that is Japan was severely outmatched, but man, what heart they played with, man. Like they look like a bunch of Smurfs out there on the court compared to our team, but they hustled and played their butts off, and really put up a damn good fight in that game. So that was pretty awesome. But hopefully the women can bring back gold. I don't follow the women's game as much, so I try not to talk too much about it, because I don't I don't follow it as much. So I'm gonna be real with everybody. I am a casual when it comes to the women's game. So don't expect the in-depth analysis on the women's game from me. But then, we've also had some other fun things that have gone on. I was just watching some highlights earlier, and apparently the women's rugby team is in the semifinals for the first time ever. So that's pretty cool and pretty exciting. So that basically means that they've got a good shot at a medal, even if they lose that semifinal game. So because they could be in the consolation game for the bronze. So that's pretty cool. That would be really cool if the women's rugby team could medal for us this year. I'm not, a huge rugby follower, but it's a fun game to watch. It's a fun game to watch. So, they're quick, fast games, and, a lot of hits, a lot of violence, it's a fun game, so that'd be really cool if we can medal in that. And then, I've also been watching swimming a little bit here and there, and, because I used to be a swimmer and I love the swimming. And man, like those Aussies are just amazing still, getting 1-2 on the 200-meter free. But, we got 1-2 in the women's 100-meter fly, which is pretty cool. Husky and Walsh, or I'm sorry, Husk and Walsh, right? Just Huske. There's no, but Husk and Walsh is how it's pronounced. So nice 1-2 finish for both of them. So pretty cool, man. And man, the Olympics, I just love the Olympics, man. USA. Like, I'm not the most patriotic guy the rest of the time, but when the Olympics come around, like absolutely, man, it's Team USA all the way. And so, for all the people that were coming at me for, talking about Booker today, just understand this, yes, I'm going to admit my own bias. I don't like Booker, but my criticism of him is not because I don't like him. My criticism of him is because I know he can play better. So I want us to win, and I don't want us to just win. I want us to dominate. I lived through the dream team, granted the competition wasn't as good back then, but watching that team play and the high IQ that they played with, as a basketball fan, it's something I appreciate. And so pounding on another team like that you're superior to, we invented this damn game, it's enjoyable to me. I love it. So more of it, I want us to win the gold, and I want us to dominate winning the gold. But, I'm also going to give credit, competition is really good these days. And, the world is catching up. We're still, when we send our A team though, I still think we're much better than the rest of the world. When our A team is healthy, I don't think anybody's going to beat us. When LeBron and KD are on the floor, I think we got this. So anyway, it's just awesome to have the Olympics back, and I'll be back here doing 5 times a week, and I've also got my other upcoming podcast that I'll probably drop at some point this week, and I'll probably do it live like this as well, just because it just makes it easier. I'm always recording these things in one take anyway, I don't want to come back and edit anyway. It's fucking pain in the ass. So yeah, so I'll be dropping that, so probably one of these nights this week, I'll do this and then, jump over and do that podcast. And that's going to be me doing reviews of sleazy 70s movies. Sleaze and More is the title of it. So anyway, I'm hoping you guys, enjoy that as well. I figure it's just a little fun off-season entertainment. I'm watching a lot of those movies on Amazon because they've got a great collection of that stuff. And I grew up in the 70s. I was born in the early 70s, so like yeah, like those movies were restricted from me when I was a kid, but I knew about them. So it's funny to like go back and watch a lot of them and see the difference between now and then. And just a lot of those movies are just pure comedy too. So anyway, that's my off season venture here. And there'll be more Olympic talk tomorrow. And until then, USA, USA, USA. Catch y'all later. Stay zooted.